Hi there, I'm Sandra Johnson and it's time for Jamaica Magazine. Welcome. Coming up, information on how government has been tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, plus making your medicine your food and your food your medicine. You don't want to miss out, so come, let's take the trip.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clarke, has outlined measures the government will be taking to steer the economy on a stable path in light of the fallout from COVID-19. It's all laid out in our next feature. Get the details.
With a virus sweeping through over 200 countries, threatening the life meter and livelihood of millions, it's easy to see how a health crisis could transcend to an economic one. Jamaica is no exception to the wrath of this new virus, COVID-19, which calls for social distancing as one of the best weapons to stop its spread.
It means that people will be out of work and out of a job, out of an income. You know, the higher purchase piles up, the electricity bill piles up, the food bill, you can't meet it, the frustration grows, and then people say the medicine is worse than the illness.
But recognizing that, government has established a task force chaired by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke to keep our economy going.
So this is the balancing act. We have to figure out how to put in place measures that slow the spread, control the spread, whilst at the same time not doing irreparable damage to our economy.
The COVID Economic Recovery Task Force is a multi-stakeholder task force drawn from persons from a diverse sectoral background, private sector, civil society, academia, and from the public sector. Working with such a diverse group, I'm highly confident that we will be able to put together the contours around Jamaica's economic recovery in this time of the COVID pandemic. We want to make sure that in all the decisions that are made, we don't allow measures that are targeted towards a significant but temporary health crisis to have long-term or permanent economic damage. We want to ensure that we can always recover economically, even though we take a pause for the moment in order to deal with the health effect of the crisis. We also want to make sure that we position ourselves to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that a post-COVID-19 global economy offers, as well as to ensure that we take account of the realities of post-COVID-19.
While the task force looks at the economic big picture, there is an interim initiative that will see thousands of persons receiving grants in the coming days to deal with immediate economic fallout.
The government of Jamaica set up the CARE program, and we have the set cash component where persons who have been laid off can apply for temporary assistance over the next few months. And the data provided by those applications is quite instructive and gives us a real-time assessment of what is transpiring in the economy. We have tens and tens of thousands. We have over 60,000 CARE set cash applications. The vast majority of those are for persons who work in the formal sector. And we are seeing that the job losses, the layoffs, are occurring in a number of sectors and subsectors. Now, as the Prime Minister mentioned, these are all Jamaican citizens who play their part in making our country function. These are human beings and these are livelihoods. And we have to be as concerned about these livelihoods as we are concerned about protecting lives from the health perspective. We announced the CARE program on the 24th of March in the closing budget presentation. And 2 weeks later, on April the 9th, I believe, or 2.5 weeks later, on April the 9th, applications for the CARE program were opened. And we have over 500 applications on behalf of approximately 500,000 Jamaicans. This makes the CARE program the largest and the broadest social intervention program in Jamaica's history. Since Friday, April 24th, that is Friday just gone, the government has been engaged in the verification and processing of these applications. And that verification process involves establishing the eligibility of each applicant for the CARE product that they applied for, and also verifying that the bank account that exists is an eligible bank account. Since Friday, approximately 350,000 confirmations of eligibility have been sent by computer-generated text message to the mobile phones of applicants for the compassionate grant. Those applicants can expect to receive their grant over the coming days, and another text message will be sent automatically computer-generated when those grants have been paid over to financial institutions that they have, that the applicants would have submitted. Of the 500,000 applications that I mentioned earlier, 60,000 were for set cash grants. And those set cash grants are being processed as we speak. For an individual to be eligible for payment of a set cash grant, the former employer who effected the layoff or the termination will have to upload a P45 form to the website of Tax Administration Jamaica. We are focusing on processing the 450,000 compassionate and CARE grants, which account for approximately 90% of all applications, And then, after that, which will be in early May, turn our attention to processing the general grants, the small business grants, the tourism-related grants, and the best cash grants. And we will do so as speedily as possible.
And to supplement all those efforts, Jamaica is seeking to access a rapid financing instrument from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF.
We expect that application to be considered in a few weeks, and for Jamaica, for disbursement to be made right after that. We are actually entertaining missions from the fund at this point, virtually of course, and the discussions are underway, and we expect our application for access to the rapid financing instrument to be before the board of the IMF very shortly, in a matter of weeks. I would have received a response to the letter which I shared with the public that was sent to the managing director of the IMF, and received a very favorable response that alludes to Jamaica's strong and long track record that favorably disposes the fund to attend to our request expeditiously.
And with that, our financial stability is being protected with the Economic Recovery Task Force, the COVID Care Program, and the Rapid Financing Instrument, all being used to alleviate the economic setbacks that have been caused by COVID-19.
By order, under the Disaster Risk Management Act, maintain a safe social distance of 6 feet apart.
The government continues to put in place systems to support persons who need health care as a result of COVID-19, and corporate Jamaica has joined hands and heart in the effort. More next.
The National Health Fund, NHF, received a significant boost in the fight against COVID-19. Medical supplies valued at $168 million were provided by the Issa Trust Foundation and its international partner Direct Relief to the NHF. The donation includes asthma inhalers, antibiotics, diabetes, mental health and immune suppression medications, and intravenous fluids. The Issa Trust Foundation had, prior to this donation, sourced $238,000 in equipment and supplies to fight COVID-19. The collaborative efforts to tackle the impact of COVID-19 also gained traction this week, with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, MLSS, receiving a donation of $5 million worth of food supplies from the separate group for use in its ongoing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief response program. The food packages were presented by Group CEO Richard Pandui to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Colette Roberts Risden, at its warehouse on Marcus Garvey Drive. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will distribute the food packages to the nation's most vulnerable. Donations of some 7,500 COVID-19 test kits and 2 diagnostic machines valued at approximately $200,000 or roughly 35 million Jamaican dollars were made to the University Hospital of the West Indies UHWI Wednesday, April 27. The supplies were made courtesy of East West Power Korea (EWP) through the JPS Foundation. The gift will improve the UHWI's testing capacity from 200 per day to 986 per day, or 393%, which is a key element in the fight against the spread of COVID-19. Health Minister Christopher Tufton thanked the EWP for its contribution, noting that the South Korean experience and success in handling the present health challenge posed by COVID-19 could provide useful learning tools for local authorities. Dr. Tufton also expressed appreciation for the continued friendship and bilateral partnership between South Korea and Jamaica.
This is a true test of global friendship, global collaboration, coming together as one people of the world in order to ensure the survival of all of us as humanity.
eating well-balanced meals, doing regular exercise, and getting sufficient rest are key to maintaining good health. Let's zone in a bit on the food part of it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to have vegetables, carbs, and proteins in your main meal? 11. Okay, so I've jumped out of the scale, but it's just to point out that all the major food groups provide key nutrients needed to keep our bodies functioning properly.
Eating healthy by having a balanced diet consisting of items from all the food groups and consuming the right portions is important to get the nutrients vital for disease prevention, growth, and good health. Essential nutrients are building blocks for the cells that make up the body, from bone to muscle, skin, and hair. One of the most critical ones is protein, which is made up of different amino acids, some of which the body can make on its own. We need a variety of proteins to function properly, many of which can only come from the foods we eat. Meats, fish, and eggs are essential sources from animals, while plant sources include beans, nuts, and some grains. How much protein you need daily depends on a variety of factors, including how active you are and your age. Carbohydrates are the main nutrients for fueling the body's energy needs, especially our central nervous system and brain. They help protect against diseases, but some carbohydrates are healthier than others. Some healthy sources include your fresh produce, such as yam, banana, breadfruit, and tubers, as well as whole grains, fiber-rich vegetables, and fruits. Less healthy sources include refined grains and products with added sugar. Fats often get a bad rap, but it's important to know that healthy fats are essential to our body's function. Fats aid in vitamin and mineral absorption, blood clotting, building cells, and muscle movement. Fats are high in calories, which is a measure of energy from foods, but the World Health Organization recommends keeping daily calorie intake from fat at under 30%. Including healthy fats, which are the unsaturated fats in your diet, can help balance blood sugar, decrease the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and improve brain function. Healthy fats are also powerful anti-inflammatories and can lower the risk for arthritis, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. Some of the well-known unsaturated fats are the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Sources of these healthy fats include fish, seeds, nuts, and vegetable oils, olive, avocado, and flax seeds. Trans fats are to be avoided, and we should also limit our intake of saturated fats, of which the main sources are animal-based and include butter, cheese, red meat, and ice cream. Vitamins are organic compounds essential for normal growth and are required in small quantities. There are 13 essential vitamins that the body needs, and these help lower the risk of diseases such as lung and prostate cancer. Vitamin A supports healthy vision, skin, and bones. Powerful antioxidants like vitamin C boost the immune system and helps the body heal. Eating a varied and well-balanced diet of fruits and vegetables should supply the body with the required vitamins. Minerals are also important nutrients needed for building strong bones and teeth. They help with regulating our body's metabolism and keeping us properly hydrated. The mineral calcium strengthens bones and teeth and helps with nerve signal transmission. It also helps to maintain healthy blood pressure and with muscle contraction and relaxation. Iron supports red blood cells and hormone creation, while the mineral zinc boosts the immune system and wound healing. The body also needs water, which improves brain function and mood, and acts as a shock absorber and lubricant in the body. Water also flushes our toxins, carries nutrients to cells, hydrates the body, and prevents constipation. Even mild dehydration can make us feel tired and impair concentration and physical performance. In addition to drinking water, we can hydrate ourselves by eating fruits and vegetables such as spinach and watermelon. Start treating your body right. As you grab your next meal, make sure you're getting all the nutrients needed in their right proportion.
Jamaica's maritime industry continues to be an integral part of our history and a major cog in the wheel of our economic development. The country boasts a vibrant shipping industry, which is still open for business despite the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll explore its development and business offerings to the global maritime industry next.
The seas call them home. Home. Where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae, where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the seventh largest natural harbor in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the second largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honor the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the small island developing states and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services. For example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also the lead partnering country in the IMO's Globe Ballast Partnerships program. Bunkering is another key element of Jamaica's position as a major shipping center. We supply bunkers not only for vessels calling at Jamaican ports, including cruise ships, but also for those transiting across the wider Caribbean. Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security, and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel alright.
It's that time again where I must bid you adieu, but then plans are already in place to see you tomorrow. Be sure to join us again for another informative edition. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging onto our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Sandra Johnson, urging you to practice proper hygiene and social distancing. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.